task of liberating the exploited workers and peasants of Russia and the world. However, in Russian conditions of autocratic dictatorship, he was clear this could not be done in a parliamentary fashion. To do that, one would at least need a parliament. Russia's Duma was far from that. But even so, it was the case that, like the Liberal Cadet Party, the mainly peasant-oriented Socialist Revolutionary Party and both wings of the worker-facing Social Democratic Party, including Lenin's Bolshevik supporters and the Menshevik wing, all put the convening of a constituent assembly to create a constitution as the first item in the party programme. However, Lenin's major contribution to democracy, as he and his followers understood it, was to establish a very different idea of democracy. Instead of an open political organisation which anyone could join, Lenin made his political name by calling for a party of professional revolutionaries, organised, like its populist predecessor of the 1870s, on a cell basis. This was done to protect it from deep incursions by the Tsarist political police, since at the time this model emerged, in 1903, all political parties were illegal in Russia. Argument about it was an important, but not the only cause of the party splitting into bickering Menshevik and Bolshevik wings. For better or worse, the Leninist model became very influential after 1917, and many but not all communist parties all over the globe adopted it, irrespective of local situations. In the debates around the model, Lenin presented it as a way of progressing towards a more conventional democracy, which was suitable for Tsarist conditions, not as the universal model which it evolved into after 1917. In outlining his plans, he makes it clear that here and further on, I of course refer only to absolutist Russia. Trades unions should have as broad a membership as possible, but, on the other hand, the organisation of the revolutionaries must consist first and foremost of people who make revolutionary activity their profession. Such an organisation must perforce not be very extensive and must be as secret as possible. He reiterates the point a few pages later. The problem of a broad organisation would be that while it is supposedly most accessible to the masses, it is actually most accessible to the gendarmes and makes revolutionaries most accessible to the police. Despite Lenin pointing out his prescription was for Tsarist Russia's specific ailments, the basic elements of Lenin's party structure became a supposed medicine for many other types of sick polity and remained a distinctive feature of Leninism. The issues of unavoidable violence and party structure led to two other related issues. First, the question of party discipline based around the concept of democratic centralism, and second, though Lenin always denied this was what he had done, revolution from above as proposed by the 19th century French socialist Louis-Auguste Blanqui. Democratic centralism had three key components. First, in theory, free discussion of political issues was permitted within the party. Second, there was a clear hierarchy stretching from local party cells via regional and other bodies to the party's central committee. The highest institution in the party was the Party Congress, which before 1917 could only be held in secret, whether in the Russian Empire, like its founding conference in Minsk, or abroad. Wherever it took place, the secret police would attempt to infiltrate it. Congresses and less authoritative conferences were held in Brussels, London, Stockholm, Prague and elsewhere. Motions for discussion could be passed up the hierarchy, but once they were decided upon, at central committee or Congress level, the third component kicked in. All such decisions were binding on all members and dissent could lead to expulsion. In the complex situation before 1917, when many leaders were in exile abroad, in judicial exile in Siberia, or in and out of regional prisons, this model was very fluid. After 1917, and especially at the 10th Party Congress in 1921, it was firmed up to give almost complete authority to the leadership in the name of a much more centralised conception of dictatorship of the proletariat and, even more foreboding, the voluntary option of a one-party state. The second issue, revolution from above, was a logical outcome from the other issues we've been looking at. Without going into the precise complexities of the October Revolution at this point, suffice it to say that the outcome was a Bolshevik government led by Lenin, which was essentially in a minority, not least because Russia was a country in which over 80%...